Welcome to the Partnership in Literature Searching session. This is the final session of our InfoBites series for the Canadian Library Month. And my name is Rachel Zhao. I'm a medical librarian with HS Library Services. I'm based in the Alberta Children's Hospital in Calgary. I will be leading today's session, and my colleagues Emily and Josette are the moderators. A few housekeeping notes. Quick reminder first, like the other three sessions, this one is being recorded and will be available later on the Library Services website. If you have questions during my presentation, please feel free to add them in the chat box. We'll have a Q&A time after the presentation. And your feedback is very, very important to us. So we would really appreciate it if you could fill out the evaluation form later. We'll add the link to the evaluation form later into the chat. Here is the link to our website. Now, I would like to recognize that our work takes place on historical and contemporary Indigenous lands, including the territories of Treaties 6, 7, and 8, and the homeland of the Métis, Regions 1 to 6. We also acknowledge the many Indigenous communities that have been forged in urban centers across Alberta. Now let's dive in. This session is not about specific library resources, but about why and how the literature search requester and the searcher work together to get useful and meaningful information. And we'll discuss why literature searching is a partnership, how reference interview can be key to a successful search, the importance of a searchable question, and then at the end, we'll look at a couple of sample real projects to see the big difference working together can make. Literature searching is one of the services we provide. It is definitely something we do for you, but it's also something we do with you. It's a partnership. Why? Well, first of all, you are the subject experts and you know what information you need. Library staff, on the other hand, have the technical and professional expertise in databases and search engines. While we know how to search effectively, we do need your help to understand the subject matter and the specific goals of your search. So here are three common scenarios that can show the importance of this partnership. First one, the requester may think they've communicated everything, but sometimes important details may have been left out because they think those details are so obvious and everyone would know. Another situation, the requester isn't entirely sure what they are looking for, and that's okay, but it can make the search tricky. Third scenario, the requester may be doing a project or submitting a literature request on behalf of someone else. As we all know, information can get lost during transmission. Similar to the telephone game, by the time the message reaches the final person, it can be significantly different from the original. And that's why, after you submit a literature search request, we often follow up with a reference interview. So for the first scenario, at the reference interview, we'll ask for additional details. For the second one, we'll do some preliminary searching together to help you scope your question. And for the third scenario, the second-hand request one, we may want to bring in the original requester and all parties have a discussion together. About the reference interview. So at the reference interview meeting, we will ask a series of questions to better understand the context of your project and why the literature review is needed. And this helps us develop the search strategy. For example, we'll ask, are you trying to answer a clinical question for patient care? Or are you looking to develop policies or guidelines? Or are you working on a research project, such as a grant proposal or a paper for publication? Or perhaps you need some information for staff training or a presentation. Understanding the purpose behind the search helps us determine the most relevant resources to use. For example, if you are searching for information on a clinical procedure, a point-of-care tool like Lippincott procedures and advisors might be useful. If you are developing guidelines or policies, you may want to review other organizations' guidelines and policies. And we will also clarify what are the key concepts and what are the parameters for these key concepts. Is there specific terminology in this area? Do you already have some key articles? As a subject expert, you may know who might be producing information on this topic, and this would be very, very useful if you want information like great literature as well. We'll also check how you would like to receive the results. For example, would you like us to do preliminary screening, or you prefer us sending all the results and you do the screening yourself? Or do you use a citation manager? If you do, we will send you the results in the format that can be imported into the tool. And finally, the most important and fun activity is to develop a searchable and answerable question. Asking a searchable and answerable question is very important for a couple of reasons. First, during the process of developing a searchable question, we'll have the opportunity to identify the key concepts for a question. To do this, we'll consider what you already know, what you need to know, and why you are asking the question. Starting from what you already know will save time and effort. If you already have some information, such as articles or studies from other organizations, please do share with us. The information you already have will help us understand your question better and will also help us find relevant terms. We should also ask what needs to be known and for what purpose. This will help us determine what kind of information we should be looking for and where. And there are tools that can help us developing a searchable question. You probably have known, like Pico, Picot, and we have a self-guided tutorial on how to conduct a literature search under the education guides on our website, and I will share the link shortly. Aside from using these tools, we can also brainstorm the key concepts and do concept mapping. Personally, this is my preferred approach. I usually use a table to do it. Now, let's take a look at a table I use it for a project I worked on. So the question for the project is on the screen. What is the efficacy of non-oral interventions for children and adolescents with migraine presenting to the emergency department? And this question contains 4 concepts, and they are in blue. Non-oral interventions, children and adolescents, migraine emergency department. And here is my table. I always have 3 columns in my table. Concepts, subject headings, which are usually mesh terms, because I usually start a search in Ovid Medline. If you start your search in another database, for example, if you are working on a nursing question, you may want to start in Sino first, and then you can just change mesh terms to subject headings. And then the third column is keywords. The team actually asked me to meet with them for further discussion. So we had a reference interview. At the meeting, they gave me a list for non-oral interventions. So what are the non-oral interventions? They gave me a list. And also, they gave me 2 articles. They came across these 2 articles, and they think they are good for their project. You may know in Ovid Medline, each article has their own number called unique identifier or UI. And the UI is the same as PubMed ID or PMID if you are familiar with PubMed. So I did a quick search in Ovid Medline and found the 2 UIs for the 2 articles. And later I'm going to use the 2 articles to test my search strategy. Okay, so today's session is not about searching, so I'm not going into too much detail about searching, but here is how I plugged the 4 concepts into the table. For each concept, I have mesh terms and keywords. And you may know we use Boolean operators and or to combine terms. We use or to combine synonyms. And each concept's mesh terms and keywords are synonyms because they are about the same concept. So we use or to combine each concept's mesh terms and keywords. And then for the different concepts, we use and to combine them. Now I have the search strategy ready. I'll just run them in Ovid Medline like this. So from this search strategy, I'll just give you a quick description of it. Line 1 to 3 are the migraine concept. Line 4 to 6, the children and adolescent concept. Line 7 to 9, the emergency department concept. Line 10 to 12, the non-oral interventions concept. Line 13 shows the final results we got by combining the 4 concepts, and we got 54 results. And line 14 are the 2 articles the project team gave me. And the line 15 shows that the 2 articles are among the 54 results in line 13, which confirms the search strategy is good. We can see that even though the topic seems complex, having all the necessary information made the search easier and effective. If you are interested, I'm going to put the link to the sample Medline search in the chat box. Here it is. Okay. Next, we are going to take a look at 2 sample projects. A disclaimer, these were actually real project questions, but I did modify them. The first one, the initial query, efficacy of medical device-based advanced wound therapies to support wound healing. Two questions might arise from this query. First one, what are medical device-based advanced therapies? I did a quick Google search. It seems to be a quite broad concept. Second question, what kind of wound should be searched for? All wounds and injuries or certain specific wounds? At the reference interview, the client clarified they were only interested in certain types of wound therapies and specific types of wound, and they did provide all the necessary details. And also, they only wanted 3 study types: randomized controlled trials, systematic reviews, and meta-analyses, not any other study types. They also want the search results in the RS format, in addition to an Excel spreadsheet. The RS format is for importing the results to a citation manager. The Excel sheet, well, some team members like to view the results in Excel. So this example shows the importance of collaboration in refining the search question. The initial query was broad, but the reference interview helped narrow the focus and ensured the search target the right therapies, the right types of wound, the right study types, and deliver the results in the right format. Without the clarification, the search could have produced many relevant or less useful results, and that would have wasted time and effort. Second example, initial query, sex trafficking screening. So we would not be clear if the client wants to know how to screen for sexually transmitted infections among sex trafficking victims, or how to identify sex trafficking victims, or how to take care of these victims. During the reference interview meeting, it became clear that the client was specifically looking for tools to screen for victims of child trafficking, including child grooming in healthcare settings, such as in the emergency department. This example once again shows how the reference interview clarifies the question and ensures that the search is on target. Here, I want to say that if you are contacted by us for a follow-up reference interview, please do not feel that you did a poor job submitting a question. A reference interview is simply part of the literature searching process. Even the best initial question can benefit from this discussion because it ensures we are on the same page. In a way, a reference interview is similar to a doctor taking a patient's medical history. Without accurate understanding of the patient's health history, it would be difficult for the doctor to make an accurate diagnosis or order the right tests or provide effective treatment. Okay, so to sum up, I discussed how literature searching is a partnership. The requester brings the subject expertise and the library staff contribute searching skills. Through examples, we saw how reference interviews can help refine questions and ensure searches are focused and effective and ultimately save time. Key takeaway: Library services are always here, ready to assist with your information needs. When it comes to literature searching, we need your help to help us, to help you. So again, we need your help to help us help you. It is a partnership. Before we move into the A, I'd like to share some more resources in case you want to explore more about our resources and services. So on the screen, I have 4 links. Yeah, and Emily put the survey in the chat box to thank you, Emily. So here are the 4 links. First one is about how you can request a literature search from us. Second one, we have a knowledge-wise education session. It's a series. We also have education guides, a lot of good guides and tutorials there. And you know, if you would like to learn more outside of the knowledge-wise session series, you can request customized education sessions from us, such as for team meeting or, you know, for yourself, an individual education session. We provide those sessions too. Okay, thank you all for joining us. Thank you very much. So once again, the library is always here, ready to help you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.